I'll train her to spin fire. The NFT analyzer, diving deep into projects. He's the crypto energizer. From mint coins to tokens, he's got all the intel. Web3 is a tree, show you where to excel. He's got the insights like a digital magician, unveiling secrets of the blockchain with precision. Wild stories from the web, he's always in the know. Crypto community, vibing where the treasures flow. Web3 wonders.
Good morning, guys. Big GMs. Welcome to the Swarm Report. I don't know. It's a vibey Monday to start already. Market's looking maybe like we turned that corner, but for me, extra vibey. Getting to chat with an awesome team here that's launching on virtuals. We're joined today by the crew at Fable. It's Fables, not Fable, right? Is it Fable or Fables? Oh, let me unmute you. I'm sorry. I do this thing. I mute everybody before, and I forgot. You're unmuted now. What's up, guys?
Nice.
Well,
how you doing, man? That was a pretty good backtrack you got there.
Not bad.
Custom made.
Made by AI. You know, we got
very Blade Runner / Daft Punk.
You know, it's funny when I started streaming going back a couple years, like, I don't know. I didn't know what the fuck I'm doing. To a degree, I still don't. But I'm like, okay, just look at Dr. Disrespect and copy what he's doing, which doesn't work for me. But the kind of song, the kind of vibe did there, that kind of stuck. But AI made. I love it, dude. Man, I need a favor from somebody who's watching the show. I posted the show. Right, I think I posted the show from the Swarm account, and then I got an error, and I don't know if that tweet went live. Somebody tell me if I actually posted the show or not. Let me know, and then I'll fire it off if it's not there. But welcome, dudes. I'm really excited to chat about what you guys are building. I got to hear a bit about it last week. I like it. I think the whole space has zeroed in on what you guys are doing, too. It's different. It's very different from anything we've seen launch on virtuals. Actually, fuck it, beyond that. It's very different from anything we've seen out there. Dabbling in the world of SocialFi, but also like in like creator coins. Would you say, is that fair to say? It's like a little hybrid of both?
Yeah. There's definitely crossovers for sure. SocialFi, InfoFi, it's all kind of converging really if you think about the overall value proposition or the objective essentially. It's all really just attention marketing, right? But what we're looking to do is really become the epicenter of creator capital markets. And I think that's a term you're going to hear a lot about over the next sort of few years as we start commoditizing everything, specifically in this instance, creators themselves.
Dude, interesting. Let me give you some flowers real quick too, because like, again, your name Fables, you managed to get the AI in there and actually make your name pronounceable. Like I see all these projects that come out with the AI in their name. I don't know how the fuck to say their name. Fables, easy. What are you guys cooking? Tell us about the project.
Yeah. So like I said, we're looking to become the epicenter of creator capital markets. And the way we achieve that is essentially we've built an agentic primitive that sort of takes creators and community and bonds them in a mutually beneficial arrangement, sort of flipping the script. Instead of creators treating their community as exit liquidity, they treat the community as liquidity. Essentially, the community becomes part of their cap table. And the way we implement that is 1, through a token, and 2 is through these new agentic products that we've deployed. And we're actually going to give you a demo of one today. So this is actually a sort of world's first moment. Maybe instead of actually talking about it, we can actually just fire away and show you. It might be easy just to fire away with a demo.
Yeah, that'd be cool. You guys can screen share. Let me know if you need any help getting it up here. But like timing is perfect. Like you guys tweeted this morning, you're running a public beta here. So there's a game, and this is a game in a way, right? Again, it's a really cool hybrid of a lot of things. But there's a game here that you actually guys get your hands on, and you get to interact, and you get to play. And in this case, maybe in every case, but this case for sure, there's a kind of cash prize, a Fable token prize, $200 worth. So it's definitely worth paying attention here. And then once this is live, once you learn how the game works, get in there and start getting your hands on and play, like get some skin in the game. Yeah, share away whenever you're ready.
All right.
So this is
Let
just
me.
one of the products under our suite. So similar to Virtuals, we've actually built an agentic deployer where creators can deploy their own very own agents, but each of them have sort of their own specialized template that they operate off, so to speak. The one we're going to show you now is this new gamified solution. Essentially what we've done, world's first, we've figured out a way to take games and deploy them live in the feed on social media, essentially turning static content into interactive experiences played in real time with potentially thousands of people. It's really cool, really simple how it works. I'll let Rob take it from here.
All right. Yeah, just excuse me. I'm just checking out StreamYard's capabilities here.
Yeah. At the bottom, you should see, kind of like in a Google Meet, there should be like a little present button.
Okay, yeah, it's very similar. Okay, yep. Just let me know when you can see my screen.
I got you here. Here we go. Hang on. Let me zap mine. Stop. Boom. Yeah, here we go. All right, cool.
All right, so I'll try and keep this quick and run through it. So basically you come to our site, you go through the launch app. It'll ask you to connect to X. This is done through OAuth connection with X's APIs. Once you're connected, you're basically straight in to our workbench. So it's kind of a familiar feel to an LLM. So basically, I'm starting a custom creation. Currently, we only have one game mode available at the moment, but more to come. So we're going to create a mystery game. And every good mystery game needs a story, right? So this is the creative input. So you can put things as small or as large as you want. Let me just get something I whipped up that's on par with, well, on brand with what we're doing now. So I just put together a mystery about yourself, and you've vanished on a podcast, and the audience's goal is to try and figure out what happened to you and get you back to continue the show.
Oh, I'm literally in this. I'm in this game. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So that's basically the creative input. Then I'll ask you for a title. Let's call it Case of the Missing Microphone. That's a cool title.
I dig it. So just so you guys know, for everybody who's watching, we'll like rewind after and we'll get into like, you know, the whys and the what and the who's it for and who's the players and how, but like the awesome setup here.
Yeah. The next will be the audience. So this is tied to brand tone and difficulty and interest, just to really wrap around the game to the type of audience you're presenting it to, right? So I've gone for this one, fans of podcasts and I guess AI agents. The next one is scenes. So this is a mystery game that plays out in different scenes. Each scene you need to pass until and then the next scene plays. So it's a progressive game. Let's just keep it at the minimum of 2. You can go up to 99 if you like, but that's a very long game. Default images, not really to matter right now. When we bring out the full product, this will kind of be your, think about like Blockbuster, you know, your movie poster, your banner to really stand out. You can bring your own file on our feed. So we'll just use the default. Connect the account, just confirmation that it's the account that's connected to the platform. And then you're ready to go. You just click confirm. It's grabbing all the information now and sending it to our game system. Then you arrive on the game management page, and you can see here it's crafting the story. So it's taking all your creative inputs and building a public narrative, but also a hidden narrative and the solution to solve the game. The cool thing about the hidden narrative is not even the creator knows. It's all secrets. So that prevents, obviously, the creator being able to give to friends or cheat themselves. But it also makes them able to play along with their community. So this can take up to 2 minutes, just depending on the story, how much detail you've put into it. Okay, it's ready. So here it's basically in testing mode. So what it means is that the game's ready. You just got to click publish the game. So from this point, I click publish. And now what it's doing is preparing all the structure of the gameplay to the agent to set it up and get it ready to deploy the game. It will automatically deploy the first scene and the summary, so the total summary of the game, and then the first scene sits underneath that game post, and then the next scene, once it's passed, will sit underneath that game post. So it's all structured in one post. So it's not going to be like all chopped up in different types of parts of a user's profile. We've kept it really structured. Sorry, this is just that little awkward like 2-minute time, I guess.
No, you're good. Can I fire off questions while you're doing this?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, cool. All right, so this is the interface for launching a game. Is this what users, like everybody, will walk through? Or if they're a creator who wants to launch a campaign, this is the same interface that I would see, and I would create it the same way. I would give it some kind of story. I would give it some kind of details and then launch it through like this screen.
Correct. Although this is our beta, so we've obviously peeled everything back during our beta because we really just want to get it streamlined, get it in people's hands, get all the testing done in front of the people that are most likely going to play the game and use the product. And then we'll be like obviously doing a total build of the app with the Launchpad. But it will be very similar. It would probably just be a lot more polished process. But yeah, that's basically how it'll work. You basically come on, you sign on with your X, you land directly onto the workbench. You've got instructions how it flows. Once you've completed that, you arrive at your game management page. And once you've done one game, you can do another game and so on and so on. So let's see if it's ready. Okay. Wow. The game's on X right now. So let's just stop sharing and let me swap it over.
Hey, depending on how many people have you got streaming, watching the show right now? Because they can actually play it live.
Yeah, let's put a link in the chat. It's hard to tell because the way X measures is weird. Let's see, 60-ish people. Let me see if I can figure out. Anyway, it's a few dozen at least.
All right, here we go.
So they can all play with it right now.
Yeah, so I can drop that here, right? So that's the link to the game.
And Rob, do you want me to reshare your screen, or is there an account I should navigate to?
You can actually my I don't know if it's my internet, but it's a bit laggy. Just don't want to ruin it. I can walk through it on yours.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, where do I go?
The link's just in the private chat, so just bring it up and present.
All right, cool. Okay, one sec, guys.
So basically what we've achieved, take for yourself, for example, is instead of just posting a static post about some new token that you're interested in launching on virtuals, for instance, you can take your brand, you can encapsulate it into this agent. You can also take the client's brand and its token and its storyline. You can even chuck its whole funnel, its educational funnel into the storyline, and then it's going to spit out an interactive game that everyone can play. And during the process, they're educating themselves in a gamified manner. And then they can chuck token bounties on top. You can chuck stablecoin bounties in, incentivize it. It's like having your own little quest operating on your feed. And what's really cool here is that everyone engages with this naturally. So by way of its working mechanism is it launches the game and then tells you to start guessing clues. So the engagement just wraps up for your profile simultaneously alongside the actual client you're working with. So that makes this sort of content like we've never seen before.
Yeah, super interesting. Okay, so we have like this AI generated image, and I'm assuming it generates the image based on what you were telling it like before in that process, right? Does that sound right?
Yeah, so
it's all contextual.
Sorry. Yeah, the images are used for visual representation of your story. Just text-based games will get a little bit lost with, all the advertising kind of placements in X feeds. So it just takes away from the game not having images. We are starting to work to actually build those images and potentially video to be more in the gameplay. So we've already started trying to train up train up some agents to be actually able to do that. So think about like from I guess from a marketing perspective, if you've got a video and hundreds of people are rewatching that video over and over again to find a clue, that algorithm, what you're feeding the algorithm, it's this is interesting. These people want it. More people should see it. So it's kind of like leveraging what the algorithm wants in social media, but also bringing in a cool interactive aspect of the game.
I'm going to tweet this out here too. Is this the game? Okay, so the tweet you had this morning, this isn't that beta, is it? The game we're actually looking at right now? Is this just a separate thing?
This is just one we've spun up for you right now.
Got it.
But
okay.
It's similar in mechanics. So if you scroll down, do you want to take them through it? So if you scroll down to scene 1, it explains your objective. It gives you some clues, and then you can start interacting with the agent right in your feed. So you want to start asking it questions and probing to try get closer to the clue so you can figure out what's going on in the scene.
Okay. All right. So you dig into the picture. It's a mystery. We're trying to solve the mystery. There is like a definitive end to this too, right? Like there is a mystery to solve, and we solve it right on the timeline here in this thread.
Correct.
Interesting.
Correct. So once you pass the first scene, like I was mentioning before, the next scene will post in this thread. So it's all structured. And then the agent will tell you the scene has been closed, it's been solved. So everyone knows to go to the next scene.
Okay. All right. Super interesting. Guys, start poking around at this. I'm really curious how it unfolds. So the question is, what do you call a podcast with no sound? Silence speaks volumes. And so people are going to be guessing or they're going to be throwing answers at that. But again, you can ask questions. You can ask a question right in this thread to start unraveling whatever that answer is.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So how the whole game works is there's a public narrative that you have, a hidden narrative, which is the connection to the clue or to end the game. So you've just got to connect those from the public to get the hidden. You get one clue to start with, which is the riddle that will guide you on the right path. And as you go around the scene asking questions, the agent's really temperatured. So it's going to tell you, oh, you're onto something here, or no, you're way off.
Okay. All right. I might be way wrong with where I'm going down here, but should I start asking questions about like why the microphone isn't plugged in? Is that a stupid thing to be replying here, or is that like part of the game? Well,
that's just part of the game. Like it could be something, it could be nothing. That's the whole point, right? We're trying to further build personality. It's just a balance with gameplay. Trying to make it too flamboyant while still having like, I guess, really structured game mechanics. But we are working on building it. So it, like, for instance, if you're way off, you know, it starts being condescending to you. But if you're hotter, it's kind of leaning into your ego, right? Right now, it's kind of more like, yeah, you're onto it. No, you're not. But it will start telling you if you're close, if you're onto something. I would just like to build more personality, and then potentially in the workbench inputs, you can build those personalities to match your personality, right? As well. So it really can feel like, yeah, like your little helper.
Yeah, right off the bat, that was something I was curious about. Like when you launch a campaign, whose personality or whose voice does it do it in, right? Is that in your guys or whoever's your like creative director? Or at some point, does it look at the X account it's launching on and like start mimicking them?
Well, it works off whatever creative input. It's trained to be a game master, so it narrates as a game master off your creative input. So it's really just based on your creativity. Like, you know, we can put, I guess, small amounts of information, like top level stuff about yourself, but like you could go nuts about your whole childhood, you know, your favorite sports, your favorite coin. Like if we're talking commercial, right? Your favorite coin, your favorite business. And slowly we're training it up more and more so we can start plugging things in, right? So think about like brands could run this, or I guess a creator could run this, align with a brand, build the brand's content in, but ensure that it's not like a shill, it's part of the story, right? But you're still getting that brand recognition off that creator without it just being a plain shill, and it's an actual interactive game.
Yeah, so then like I can launch a campaign Just like you did, and it's kind of like woven through like a story about a podcast, right, or a podcaster or whatever. And right in the end, like my end game can be, it's just I want people to know about my podcast, and they can do that through playing a game. Super freaking cool, makes a ton of sense. And it just hit me too. Like I'm thinking, who else uses something like this, right? A brand makes a lot of sense. But I'm like, dude, we got all these content creators out there that are writing threads. They're writing threads about other projects, right? What a cool way for them to bring like a new twist to that game too. Write about the project that you're partnered with, and you're just making content for them anyways, but do it this way. Do it as a game. It's something that they haven't seen before, I'm sure, and probably gets a different kind of engagement. Is that kind of what you picture happening too?
Yeah, absolutely. That's our vision, definitely on that side of things.
And this is just the start of it. This is just the most basic product we've come up with. We've got a whole bunch of modalities that are coming out that are really exciting. But the main thing that we want you to understand with the product side of things is that it's essentially your creative surrogate. It's like you now have a digital marketing team that works autonomously 24/7 around the clock, manages all of the engagement, and actually stimulates engagement as a matter of its process while driving conversions, attention, and everything simultaneously. And
oh, go ahead. Well, okay. I was going to say, let me think. I'll come back to this question because I want to make sure I phrase it right. And I don't think I had it totally there.
No worries. I'm trying to guess this riddle.
Yeah, and again, I'm coming back to even that. That's what we're trying to solve here. And I saw Will's replying here, and mental note, coming back to Will, want to get into the team because you guys are gangsters. You have a pretty interesting background, all you guys. So I want to get to the team here too. I don't think I'm on the right track here with microphone being plugged in, or not plugged in. Will is asking about, the note or the script, and also about the coffee cup. I wonder if the coffee cup was anything here too. But, and he's even directing it more at the coffee cup. Interesting. But there's something with the note. Oh, and it actually wrote the note out here. Okay. The message is obscure and elusive. It hints at the importance of seemingly minor details around you, suggesting.
Yeah, sorry, that's just showing you the temperature, right? So it's telling you you're onto something, right? Whereas other things, it will probably tell you, you're far off, just depending on how invested you are to solving it based off the public narrative it is giving you at the start. But you can play around with it. I always ask it random stuff, Sometimes it gives some kind of personality to it. It could be better, but it doesn't break character, and it won't let you break the game. Like, just get the clue.
Okay. So then it's almost the note's really important. Is that what I'm getting from this?
The role is written in the message.
Scattered recording cables.
That would appear to or might hold a crucial end. So something that you've messaged. I didn't actually read, so I'm on a laptop, so I didn't see your first message. Read the note. Okay, so it is telling you there's something to do with the note, but you haven't asked the right question from my perspective of what it is. Like I said, we don't know. The agent has gone and created this game, right? This is the beauty about, like, the creator gets in with their community, right? There's no make it almost impossible, or give it to my mates, give it to whichever one of their brand deals has told it to give it to. It's completely hidden.
It's cool because this gives you something, like, as a community, right? Talk about it on X, of course, play the game on X, but this gets you, like, behind the scenes, like in your Discord or TG. It gets you putting your heads together to figure the thing out as well. Because, like you said, like, the people who made it maybe don't know the answer, or definitely don't know the answer, right? So it's a thing you do together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So we have modalities where you actually know the answer, and you can make the end result or the code like your brand name or the actual product. So you want people to understand the workflow of your product, for instance, and they have to figure it out through the gamified notion. But yeah, this one's kind of killing me.
I like it. I like that it's not like super easy, super straightforward. Can you dial in how tricky it actually is? And I know you were able to pick, like, the length, and you call them, is it scenes or frames? What was it?
Yeah, the scenes. So it's around the audience. So the audience is really, if you like, for instance, one thing that may throw it off is when I said AI agents, I'm obviously trying to talk, you know, about, you know, the virtuals community and stuff. But, you know, an LLM can say, if they're interested in agentic frameworks, you know, their level of kind of intelligence could be, you know, on the top tier of that, which is, you know, network engineering stuff. So it's a real hit or miss. We're still balancing out a little bit, but, you know, one thing we have said, if you say family friendly, easy, you know, it will take that into account if you want a quick game. But if you really want to challenge someone, like, just think, you know, highest IQ, cryptography, all those kind of, you know, aerospace engineer. Those are the kind of things, and it will factor that into the way it writes it, and then also how hard it is to solve.
Man, okay, so I have a lot of questions, I guess. Let me get into the team's background then, because I think that ties into how this is built, right? And like, I think the potential with it too. So we got you two guys here. How many people are on your team total?
Paul?
Talking to me? Oh, sorry.
Either way, yeah.
Sorry, I'm still trying to figure out. I'm trying to solve this damn one. Okay, well, total we've got 8 full-time and 7 contractors. About the team where we came from, I guess this sort of started from my end. So I was the architect. I've been a venture capitalist in crypto since 2014, essentially. Backed over 100 projects over the years. And sort of over the time, I've watched creators' influence go from pretty astonishing, where they could move market caps, you know, 5-10x multiples with a single tweet, to sort of non-existent. And we've seen this sort of trend speed up or accelerate over the last few years, sorry. And about 3 years ago, started building our own revenue layer for gaming. And in one calendar year, we spent about $1 million. Purely on creators, user acquisition, that sort of company, a couple of agencies as well. And you know what we got for that $1 million was about 5 gamers, real gamers that actually stayed on the system. So basically the whole creator community, I mean, it wasn't just the bots, but basically the whole creator community dynamics changed dramatically, where there's just no trust left anymore. And if there's no trust, there's no attention. If there's no attention, there's no influence. So businesses and investors, like, what are we paying for when we're dealing with creators these days? And it's definitely not conversions, because if we look at the CPCs, they're just astonishing when you compare them to sort of the Web 2 equivalents. So we went about trying to build something that realigned communities with their creators, essentially. And this wasn't a problem that was exclusive to me as well. So I reached out to my network. I mean, you name it, market makers, VCs, other agencies, Transcend Labs been instrumental in this. We all have the same pain point. So yeah, we sort of put our heads together and started building. And that's how we got to today.
Your backgrounds are wild too. Okay, one of your guys on the team, I think former SpaceX or something in that world, right? Do I have? I think I heard that right. But you guys have got like a crazy mix of backgrounds, like crypto bros, super technical guys. And I'm actually, I got a question about your creative guy, you know, at some point here. But yeah, what's the team's background that's kind of enabled you to build this thing out?
Yeah, so Transcend Labs are all growth and marketing. We're all, I did all financing and architecture. Weston Williams is the guy you're talking about. He's overseeing the AI team. So he's got a background. He was on AutoGPT, but if you know AutoGPT, was kind of the first publicly usable GPT. He was sort of, Jesus, he was in AI before it even became popular, and long before crypto. He's built his own health LLM that sort of specializes in diagnostics. And yeah, he's overseeing our contract developer team out of Vietnam.
Dude, interesting. All right, well then let me fire off my question about the creative guy. Even if he's not here, I don't know, is one of you guys like the creative guy here that's building out, I don't know, the story aspect of this stuff, helping to train it?
The guy you was talking about is Mizzy, and yeah, he's super creative. He's had a background in fashion before coming into crypto, and I'm not going to speak to his skill sets, but dude's definitely on point when it comes to creativity. I'll give him that.
Damn. Okay. Well, then he's I like best suited to answer this, but I bet you guys could as well, right? Like, there's a lot of people who think AI can't be creative, right? Humans are going to be the creative force. AI is going to be this thing that, you know, like kind of mimics it. But I don't think I agree, man. I think AI can be pretty damn creative on its own. And if it's not there yet, I think it will be one day. But I'm curious, you know, him or even you guys from building this with him, have you seen anything that shows, you know, the AI itself is pretty damn creative? Like it's done something you're like, that's fucking brilliant. Like that's really smart. It's clever. And even like a little artistic flair to it. Have you seen anything like that?
I don't know, Rob. What do you reckon? I'm kind of I lean more to the creative side, to be honest. Rob's sort of on a different end of the spectrum. He thinks AI is going to take over everything one day.
Yeah. Well, I've just said, like, you know, originally, I guess when ChatGPT originally came out, I was in another company, and it was over a Christmas break, that 2023 Christmas break. You know, teams were away, and I just played around with it because I had a couple of mates tell me about it. And yeah, by the time they got back in a couple of weeks, I told everyone, social media, the content writer and stuff, we were all on a call. I went over in 30 minutes, and I basically did an okay monthly calendar, including articles on that call. And I said, if you guys don't know this by the end of the week, yeah, there's going to be you're going to be in a lot of trouble in this industry. So that kind of ticked me right off going down that rabbit hole. And I'm a big movie buff. Like I love movies. So I'm more on the side of how it's going to work in entertainment, especially in like fan-made movies, how that's going to wrap around with existing IP. So yeah, I just see, you know, the opportunities are endless in making movies. I'm already kind of playing with scripts, trying to build like my own Disney shows for my daughter, you know, on kind of values that I hold dear. But, you know, I've already seen people building the Avengers trailers, what they think Doctor Doom is going to be like. Star Wars is going to go absolutely ballistic. It was already getting good, the fan stuff, but it's just going to go nuts. You know, everyone wants to go back to the old George Lucas days. And, you know, now the fans can actually build in that lore, you know, without Disney, you know, dominating and pushing in a different direction, whether that be for their political stance or, you know, their other kind of agendas. Fans can really take back control of the stories that they love, that they grew up with. Sorry, I ranted there.
No, dude. I mean,
I can go on for hours.
But to nerd out for a moment, I know exactly what you're talking about because I'm a Star Wars nerd, and I've been watching these fan-created AI things. They'll take like cool stories that we've heard about in the Star Wars universe, and they'll actually make an animation of it. And it's like, for me, damn near as good as it gets. Like it's like watching like old Clone Wars animations or Rebels or something. It's like, I'm like, I cannot believe that AI can do this now. I can't believe we're there. It's wild shit, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm a big star. I'm also a big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm
nice.
Representing today, old school.
Nice.
But you know, I've been like playing around and just looking in forums. I want to build like a Raphael John Wick movie. You know, Raphael going around like John Wick. So,
man.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's super exciting. I know that they've, you know, started on the Tom and Jerry stuff. They did that 1 minute show, all created off one prompt. A full it's a 1 minute episode with time training kind of systems that they're working on. But you know, that was 6 months ago. It's getting better and bigger and bigger. People are getting creative as well by prompting, creating, taking the last screen and then, you know, using that for the next scene. So it's getting there, and yeah, it's exciting. Like I said, I could go on this for hours.
It's like there's a whole separate show we got to do about it because like that stuff fascinates me too, especially with some of the you know, like characters out there no longer having that trademark or licensing, right? Like old Superman stuff. You can use it and build out your stuff and monetize it. It's going to get really fun here for, you know, nerds especially.
Yeah, well, I've seen when the Mickey Mouse trademark, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, finally ended. All the horror film directors started making Mickey Mouse horror movies, right? Because Disney didn't have control of it anymore. So that's it's going to be interesting with the IP laws. Are they going to adapt? Are they going to work with creators? So just say, I want to use your IP, instead of stopping me or trying to stop me. If I make something good, we earn from it, right? Is that kind of where it's going to go, or is it just going to be this complete try of being a monopoly, trying to stop everything? Like, it's just hard. Like, we've seen that with Livewire, we've seen it with streaming and torrents. Like, you're not going to be able to stop it once it gets out there. And, you know, people are going to jailbreak these LLMs, and people are going to have a whole black market if they don't come to the table and work with creators.
Dude, yeah. All right, question about this, which is, all right, I'm not anywhere close. I guess, to be fair, I've only thrown like one question, whatever, at it, but I don't know if anybody's on the right track with this yet. So right off the bat, how do you keep people like engaged long enough to keep poking, to keep throwing questions at it, to keep playing around and testing and getting to that answer? But then also, like, if people do that, if you get, and you will get it, like dozens, hundreds, ultimately scale it, and there's thousands of people playing these games. I've seen that with AI agents on X, the longer something goes on, the more it starts to stray and it starts talking nonsense. Like, we had an agent we launched in big, long conversations. All of a sudden he's talking about things that we didn't bring up in this thread. It was, you know, somewhere else, like other conversation, maybe his training. And I think that's an issue with AI, right? The hallucinations, again, in the longer the threads go, the more they do that. How do you, I don't know, adjust or take, you know, plan for that, I guess?
Yeah, well, most of it comes down to how you've structured your management system and your core rules. And then also building things that, I guess, are deterministic, like have to be set in stone. But, you know, with beta, we want to stress test those kind of things where it sits, and revise and adjust. We haven't hit those products, those points yet, but they are things that we do discuss. That could potentially happen at scale, but, you know, new products, if you don't put yourself out there, and that's why we don't do a closed beta, we're doing a public beta. I'm a big person for public beta, especially because these are going to be the people that either invest in you guys, you know, in virtuals, or are your customers, or are your creators, right? And once you're in product long enough, you get product bias. So even so, like, I know there's things we can improve. There's things that I'm not thinking of. And a public beta just opened that completely up.
Yeah, fair. All right, my question from before is kind of coming back to me. And it involves like the tech itself and what it's capable of now and what you see it being capable of like down the road. And look, if you have people, content creators that are making stuff that's kind of going to represent brands, it's got to be good, right? It's got to be killer tech, I think. How do you... I mean, how close is it right now to like its final form, or what does ultimately the final form of it look like, and how achievable is that?
Well, in terms of the modes themselves, they will always be patched and improved, I guess. But the beauty about it is, well, how we've structured the system and how we're flexible to bring in new modes. It's really about like what else can we do? You know, like Paul was talking about, we have modes where you can actually have an answer. We're thinking about treasure hunt modes where, you know, it's a kind of a scavenger hunt across the web. So you're telling people to go across the web for this big adventure to try and solve something. We've got a choose your own adventure type of mode, where, you know, it's 3 different options similar to, you know, what we grew up with in those books. But that's just the gaming side, you know, in terms of like where we can take the tech, like, you know, we're thinking matchmaker kind of systems, gamified matchmaking, whether that be for, you know, matchmaking you to Coles if you're a project, or project to Coles, have a gamified kind of experience there. Jobs as well, get really creative on some kind of gamified solution. Dating's one, you know, which is really interesting for this space.
Wait, dating? Like, can you explain that?
The dating?
Yeah.
Paul, probably better to explain. It's his baby.
Wow, yes. For the record, I've got a partner, fiance, I love her very much. No, we came up with a really fun idea. So if you imagine an attractive young lady, she wants to try a different dating pool, so to speak. She can literally spin up a dating fable. And what it'll do is just post a photo of her. She'll be able to import all of her likes and essentially make her ideal partner on a rating. So let's say her first post goes out. She says, "Hey, Twitter, I'm single. Find me a match." so people can forward, make recommendations. Hey, dude, you should check this girl out. She looks like your type. And then people who want to actually go out on a date with her will go through sort of a gamified qualifying process, right? It'll be sort of 5 to 10 questions that'll go over, like, you know, how compatible you guys are. Like, are you a vegan, or do you like dogs? Are you looking for kids? All that sort of thing, right? And then you'll get a score spat out. She'll be able to see who scored in certain ways and decide who she lets into a Telegram, essentially. Off you go, dates made. All live in your feed. So what we're really trying to do with Faibles is to bring everything into your feed. Give you the engagement, keep it all there, instead of, generally speaking, the model is people go into social media to pull people out into their interfaces. We're doing the polar opposite.
Yeah, that's clever as hell. There's a couple other things on the roadmap. By the way, here's what I want to make sure we get to in the next, 10-ish minutes. I want to talk the token, because I think the tokenomics are super interesting here. So I want to get into that so people are clear on how that works and whys and all that. More into this roadmap here, and then a couple things I'm going to put out there too, like challenge-wise. I know not all content creators, this will tie into the tokenomics part. Not everybody out there wants a token. And I get why, and I actually challenge them on that too. I think everybody should go and launch tokens. But why don't we start with roadmap, and we'll work back to tokenomics then. So the dating mode is super cool. Is that matchmaker mode? Is that the same thing?
No, matchmaker is slightly different. For instance, you'll be able to do the exact same thing for a startup looking to raise funds, and you're looking for VCs. You could post the same sort of thing, and then it goes and finds you or connects you with a series of VCs that match or aligned with your sort of vision, your sort of network, your segment, whatever. Same thing for KOLs, recruiting. They all sort of fall under the matchmaking banner.
Yeah, dude, it's super clever. It really is. I like this a lot. Bookie mode? Curious about that too.
Bookie mode. So creating betting markets on social media. Now, there are some roadblocks there, obviously, because Twitter terms of service will forbid betting, gambling, and things like that. But yes, we've figured out a way how to execute those in feed as well. We're looking to do so via things like Farcaster, for instance, or Warpcaster, sorry.
I like it a lot, man. Also, I'm seeing if I read it here, if it's elsewhere in the description, or maybe like I imagined it too, but can you do collaborative campaigns? Or if I launch a campaign and Will, who get also on your team or advisor, I'm not sure about that, but working with you guys closely, which is cool as hell. But can Will and I do a campaign that somehow's got a little like cross-pollination there?
Yeah, absolutely.
We are planning on building those things. So, whether it's on your game, and then Will's Fable can then be introduced into the game and have something to do, whether it's a protagonist, a partner, or something along that line. That's just kind of building kind of like a swarm of agents, and then just tying into our system. So we're starting at the top, getting the games. We've got the game stable. They play through, the gameplay works. Now it's just kind of scaling out a bit, getting that initial feedback. And then, just working on different modes. That's definitely one. Like I was saying, like being more specific about like characters or inputs into your brand, into your story with brands is another thing. And then fine tuning and really working on difficulty level, speed of game. So it can kind of speed up. Or maybe if we, like if someone wants a quick game, because some people just want that capture, that, that instant impulse 1 hour game. Hey, everyone, come on my live show. Let's all work together, right? 1 hour type of game, you could kind of work it so it kind of feeds in and understands, push people through faster and faster and faster. So kind of time limit games like that as well are all things that we're working on.
Where would you go next on this, by the way? If you have any quick tips on the type of questions somebody should throw at this next. Because it's still like it's telling us to look elsewhere, like not the note. Earlier I threw something up the mic, but it wants something else.
I think Will's onto something. If you look,
I'm just doing coffee, right?
One of his posts, the writing on the cup, COD3.
Oh shit! Hang on.
That's the one thing I didn't mention. Just for people that are playing, is always reply at the scene level, not reply to the agent's response. That's why sometimes it doesn't reply. It's because we're directing everything to that scene to get the scene visibility, rather than it just threading everyone's conversations. So every response back to the scene. Again, we got product buyers. We know it. We're slowly trying to build like instructions and getting this back. And that's part of this whole beta. But these are kind of teething things. So yeah, if anyone's watching and playing any of our games, if they're live now or later on, at the scene level directly, message the Fable. It will respond to you. If you want another response, at the scene level again.
Wait, where the hell did he see that code? It's on the mug? Where was that code?
Go for his questions. I'm trying to find out how he figured that out too.
Yeah,
can you examine the cup? Oh, there. Yeah, he asked, "Can you examine the cup closely for any writing on the cup?" Which was quite clever.
Oh, okay.
I just won. I stole his code because he had replied to the reply instead of replying to the scene. Sorry, Will, if you're listening.
I love it, dude. I love it. You rugged him. You rugged that dude.
Fully rugged him. Okay, so now scene 2 will kick off, and then whoever wins scene 2 is essentially the winner of that campaign.
And does that kick off right in this thread here?
Yeah, exactly.
Let me see if
what's interesting, right? If you look at the engagement factor and compare it to industry standards now, it's pretty damn amazing. So because replying or liking or retweeting can all be components or actions that are necessary within this game, it just fires up the algorithm like crazy. So we've got less than 100 impressions on this, but there's 13 comments. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the algo loves that, and it loves the time spent
loves
on
it
too, right? And this keeps you literally right there on that page and like clicking in the photo, and for me, opening the photo in another tab so I can zoom in. So you clearly see how it's an engagement hack here. But what drives this more, like in your opinion? Is it like the gameplay, that it's so fun and sticky? Is that what drives it, or is what's driving it what we should get to now is the tokenomics? Right, tokenomics, and the fact that you can earn to play these games. Yeah, what's like the biggest selling point of this, or is it like equally both?
It's tough to say. That's why we're getting into the beta testing phase, because we're really at scale now. So we want to, like, part of scaling is not just users, right? Scaling is also how usable it is with Twitter and dealing with scaling via Twitter. So we have to go through all those tests first. But we haven't had a broad enough feedback outside our little closed loop. So it'd be interesting to see. So if we put monetization in this, for instance, if you're working with a brand and you want to promote their brand, you tag them and you use their token ticker and then fire it up with like $1,000 bounty, obviously that's going to appeal to a certain group, like we've seen in quests, platforms, and those sort of models, Kaido and all those sort of things too. But for great storytellers, if you're like a Quentin Tarantino and you can just create a really good series that just evolves on itself, I mean, that's obviously going to be a different story. It captivates people, right? I don't have that skill set personally. I wish I did, because great storytellers are always great communicators too, right? So yeah, we get to see all that playing out soon. As for the token, so the token's a controversial sort of area, and you sort of touched on it before. We actually, look, this is crypto, and we want to sort of cause a paradigm shift in creators in the way they think of themselves. Instead of looking at the community as how can I monetize my audience, we want creators to start thinking about how can I monetize myself, as in how can I become a more investable commodity. And what we've done with our tokens, for instance, is when you deploy a Fable, you also it comes with its own creator token, right? That token is embedded in the value accrual of that specific Fable. So if you look at the Fable, it's like your creative extension. It's going to go on these social media missions. It's going to farm engagement. It's going to blow up your clients. It's going to get you more deal flow, more intention, everything, boosting your influence simultaneously, right? Now, for everything that comes through the Fable ecosystem, deal flow, so to speak, 50% goes directly to the creator, 30% goes to burning that token, and 20% goes into the liquidity pool. And what we're doing there, right, is we're aligning community with creators. So instead of, like, for instance, if a creator today, he shows me a coin, I go and buy it. And then next week he shows another one. I've now got to decide if I'm going to 50-50 split my portfolio or just stick with the first one. Or maybe I already full tilted that first one, right? Now, if he starts promoting another one, what's happening? He's diluting the impact of my portfolio, and also he's diluting my trust, because now I've already gone all in on these coins, and now he's got this new one that's really good. There's only so much a creator can talk about, right, before he starts diluting his brand value. Whereas what we're doing here, and something that I've experienced sort of investing in other projects, is, you know, you come across teams all the time, and there's an old saying is that you want to invest in the team, not the product, but you don't actually get to do that. So if you can invest in a great team, and most of the time they're going to execute, but sometimes they just don't, or their product just doesn't hit, right? They fold up, you lose your investment, it's gone. What I'd like to do is actually invest in the team. So if this project fails, they're going to spin up another one, and I still get upside in that one. And that's what we're trying to foster here, right? Is that with this token design and with this kind of product, a creator can go on promoting a bunch of different products. Instead of you and having to choose which one to invest in, you just back the creator. And together, you guys engage as much as possible with every post he talks about, because that obviously increases his deal flow, because he's converting or generating attention for his client base. He gets more deal flow, he gets more money flowing in, it sinks the token more, token appreciation goes up, so there's liquidity. Therefore, both of you have a mutually beneficial follower creator relationship, and that right there could change how crypto is promoted.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite part of the whole thing, by the way. Just got to say, like, I wasn't sure if it's launching a new token for every campaign, really, or, you know what I mean? And I wasn't sure, or if it's by the creator. And at the creator level is brilliant, man. That it makes so much sense.
Yeah. I think it's a game changer, to be honest. Because I personally would like to back creators. So it's funny, because this problem arose because I was sort of fed up with creators, right? Because they weren't converting. But after sort of breaking it down, process of elimination, you realize that, like, you can talk to any user acquisition company, launchpad, exchange. Even though creators don't convert anymore, that is still the first thing that you're supposed to have as either a project or an investment. First thing they're going to say is, oh, who are your KOLs? Who are marketing for you? If not, we can introduce you to some, right? That is just the go-to product for all crypto marketing. Nothing else really works, because we don't like ads. No one in crypto trusts ads. SEO is too slow for our crazy hype cycles. They happen too fast. So creators is what counts. But the only way to really make it work today is by spending millions of dollars, enough to get so many creators that it has that much appeal, that it creates FOMO, but it doesn't like it used to anymore. And most people can't afford that. So having this kind of relationship is much, much better.
It's neat, dude. Okay, so then let's say Katsy's got a deal with some brand, and he's going to make, you know, some content for them and help promote those guys, and he's going to do it through Fable, and then I'm going to do the same thing, right? Are our campaigns going to feel different enough, right? Will they feel different enough that there's value in two different people doing that kind of campaign?
Yeah, absolutely. So everything is based on the creator's input, right? And every campaign you do will be as unique as your thumbprint, because it's all based on your input and your perspective and what story you want to wrap in, and it'll be totally different from someone else's. The only thing that'll be the same is the end product you're promoting, right?
Yep. Okay, that makes sense.
And that's a really important. Sorry, that's a really important point, because if you think about the cost of creation is sort of the marginal cost of creation is trending towards zero. Everyone's using the same tools, so we're just getting very, very repetitive content. If you look now, like Threads used to be, I remember that just 3.5 years ago, there was only a few guys that would do Threads consistently. Now there's plenty, and it's because they can just spin them up like that, right? But they're all essentially dropping the exact same thing. And as that happens, you know, creativity becomes more and more valuable, which is where products like this become even more valuable.
Yeah.
Because we start tuning out when it gets too repetitive, right?
Exactly that. And I do that. I absolutely do that. I think everybody here does.
Yeah, I never read Threads anymore.
No, dude, not like there's no point. Because if you read one on that topic, you've literally read all of them. I'd rather these quick takes, or even somebody who does a word vomit post, but that feels original, like need it. I just need something that's different. This is very different. It sounds like every campaign can have its own flavor too, which is pretty damn cool. Okay, so then and I'll make this quick. But for somebody like Goon, I can't find the post. I had it before, but Goon, like, just not keen on launching the token, right? And I get why. There's that stigma with it, which I think is we need. I think we all need to be part of driving that whole thing away. But he doesn't want a token, doesn't want to feel responsible to token holders and propping up a price. To that, I say, like, look, I've launched some recently, and I'm like, it's on us to tell people, like, we the token isn't going to move based on what you want, and you're not necessarily responsible for making sure that price is at a certain place. I just think content creators need to realize, like, it's going to be as normal as what? I don't know. Everybody's going to have a token. At some point, everyone's going to have a token, and I think you get in now and destigmatize it. So, but for somebody like Goon, how do you convince them that it's okay to launch that token?
So, look, I get it. We actually did have a little back and forth. It is a hassle, but it's only a hassle because of expectations, right? Once you manage expectations and you have value accrual within your token, it's very, very different. One example for you, for instance, like if we ran a Fable for your show, for instance, every project that came on provided an airdrop, their airdrop would be executed simply through a straightforward interface directly to your token holders, which is nice and beautiful and clean for you. But also, you went in, you did a meme coin recently, right, on Pump.Fun. Now you could give them a percentage of that as well. So every action you do, you build your community up with you, and that creates more value with the token, and it drives it all into one single input for your own value system. You create your own little micro economy that grows bigger and bigger over time because it's constantly getting value inputs, instead of, right, taking the opposite approach, which is I'm going to do a little bit of this, I'm going to do a little bit of that, and none of it has a collective value accrual system, which doesn't work for your community at all. But with this, you can jump across brands, you can jump across different tokens, you can jump across advertisers. It doesn't matter what you do because it's all crystallized in the one single value capture mechanism that your same community keeps benefiting from. I just don't think you can beat a value proposition like that. And we all know how strong bag bias is as well. Like, you can see a token that is clearly going to zero. It's got no liquidity. It's got no natural bids. Market makers are holding it up, and the team's essentially rugged. But there's just those diehard community members that will just never give up on it. You can't get that kind of connective tissue without having that financial incentivization, right?
Dude, absolutely. Did I hear right? Did you say, like, through your platform, you can do airdrops of other tokens to, like, your community? I don't know if I just made that part up or heard it that way.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the other good thing about a creator token, right? If you have one connected to you, then it's like a single messaging forum. Like if I'm a business and I want to access you, for instance, let's say your token's live and I want your community on my side. What am I going to do if I want to have sort of a 12-month relationship with you? I'm going to go buy 5 to 10% of your coins just off the market without telling you. I'm going to lock it up in my smart contract. I'm going to lock it up in a smart contract, and I'm going to give that little vault a name, and it's going to be my brand. And everyone in your community is going to be like, holy shit, someone bought 10% of our token. Who is it? They're going to see my brand. Straight away, I've built unity with your brand. I've kind of hijacked them in some way, but you're definitely going to want to speak to me after that, aren't you? As a creator and owner of that token, it's a perfect way in for me to chat with you and your community. And this is exactly how creators should start thinking about their value systems. Like, how can I make my brand more investable to other businesses? Like, it's this weird abstract, it's this weird paradox in crypto. It's very polarizing compared to like Web 2, where most influencers who get more awareness, who grow bigger and bigger, and who have access to more deal flow, they grow and influence deal flow and size and everything. We're the opposite. In crypto, it's that Batman line, you like die the hero or live long enough to become the villain, and you just lose all influence. Every single one of them who went big ended up fucking dying, losing all their influence, right? No one trusts creators anymore.
Yep.
But this aligns them all perfectly in one beautiful little primitive with all these little world's first interactive tools that just smash the social media algorithm.
Yeah.
Like, this is what SocialFi creator capital markets is supposed to be.
It's super clever. It really is. I've had you an hour. Can I sneak in one last question here?
Yeah, go for it.
It's hopefully it's a simple one. people participating in the quest, like, do they earn that creator's token too, or is that just something they buy to support the creator?
So that's another thing, right? If you have a brand that you're working with that you really love, you control your own tokens, right? So you can input these mechanisms, so you can add additional yield. So hey guys, this advertisers, I actually love their product. I use it every day. They're giving me 1% of the supply to distribute to people who, and this is another thing, we can track how many of your users actually try our protocol. So if I'm a business and I want you to bring users in, I can actually see how many users are based on the wallets that hold your tokens. I know exactly where those people came from, right? So if I drop $1,000 bounty or 1% of the tokens, it gets distributed to the people who used my platform, actually gave it a try, right? Easily done. But you can increase that yield by adding some of your own token supply in there as part of it. And you can actually add that in and have it automatically vested as well. So we've got all that coming under the same single primitive.
Yeah, I love it. It's clever as hell, man. I gotta say, like last cycle, so fun to me. Like the NFT thing was so fun, but it was fun because it had characters, right? And it had lore, and it had, kind of gambling, and it was all intertwined. And if anything, this feels like it's bringing, some of that spirit back. It's the lore and the characters. Those things are really sticky, and they make it fun. And I like to have fun while we're doing this thing. So I really like it, guys. I think Faibles sounding super, super cool. Again, very different. Launching on virtuals here in Wednesday, I think, right? Wednesday here in the States. Looks like it. Yeah. So wait, is it Tuesday? Wednesday?
The 10th.
That makes it easier. There we go. The 10th is Wednesday. There we go. Wednesday, guys, which would be really cool. So like Wednesday for sure. We'll be talking about this when it goes live. We'll start talking how we're allocating points and whatnot. I'll be going in on this for sure. Again, I think it's really, really clever. And it feels like that next step in SocialFi that is needed. So I like it. Guys, any final things you just want to make sure people know ahead of that? And also, I think you're on more shows this week. So anything you want to shill here?
No, to be honest, my brain's not functioning. It's 2 a.m. here, so I just need some sleep.
I'll let you get to it.
But no, please do read our documentation and just understand it, because we've really done something different, put a lot of thought into how all this works to make sure it does work. Yeah, we are coming up on Big Will's show, so awesome for that. And shout out to Nick Plays Crypto. We're also having a little chat on his show.
There we go.
Big shout out to the virtuals community. They've been very welcoming so far, which is really, really cool. And honestly, I think this is one of the only ecosystems that I did this big expose on launch pads about 6 months to a year ago, about how most of them were committing forward and how there were no real buyers. And virtuals is one of the only legit communities, and I think they've almost nailed the incentive structure right. On top of that, there's one more thing we do have to say, which is really important. We heard all the voices regarding the Genesis low FTV launches, and we've actually, you'll see in our tokenomics, we've actually allocated 21%. Now that is exclusively for Genesis buyers who lock. Okay, so this gives you the opportunity to buy into Faibles at the FTV that you guys loved. It's not quite 200,000 or what it was. I know it moves based on the price of virtuals, but it gets it down. You'll essentially have 4 times the allocation each.
I'm glad you mentioned it, dude, because that absolutely that changes my plans. Like, I'm going to put points to it and like going to, but that changes probably how much I'm going to do. That's pretty damn spicy. Was
yeah.
Advice?
Sorry?
Was that Will advice? He's a good advisor. I'm curious if that came from Will.
Honestly, Will's been fantastic. Big shout out to him. He's man, very, very forthcoming. He's very generous with his time. He's very honest too, and it's hard to meet good, honest people in this space sometimes. Yep. And shout out to you guys too. Katz was actually one of the first people who actually just replied to us and sort of started giving us a little bit of information on the ins and outs of virtuals ecosystem as well. So, dude, been a pleasure to get to know you guys all, to be honest.
The community is great. I think the virtuals thing has got a very special thing going on. A big part of that is the community is that awesome. I think it's very unique over here. So cool you guys see it. Shout out to Katz, who's got COVID. Hope you feel better, buddy.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, got him. It got him. It comes for us all eventually.
All right, man. Thanks for having us. I'm going to get some sleep.
Yep. Have a great day, guys. Thank you again, guys. We'll chat about this more.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
We'll see you guys. Peace.
Pleasure, guys. Take care.
Bye.